Well, the biggest event in UK fashion is upon us, so what are the hottest looks and biggest trends for the coming autumn and winter seasons? To find out, I'm joined by Head of Fashion Communication at Central St Martin's, Howard Davis, who has joined with Sight Station reading glasses to bring all the latest news and trends from the catwalk to the nation.
Some of the biggest trends on the catwalk at this year's London Fashion Week include the 1970s. The 70s have been a really big influence on designers for the last few seasons, and London really took it on board as a really powerful theme. So people like Orla Keeley, whose Librarian Chic collection really focused on the idea of 70s separates and muted colours, and she also had her models wear specs so they looked like they were working in the library. Key items for this trend include flares, funnel necks, patterns, 70s tailoring, lame, and also things like tortoiseshell frames, brown frames, and oversized specs are really in keeping with this trend. I think the thing about the catwalks in London Fashion Week and internationally, people can just take ideas from these trends and incorporate them in their everyday wardrobes. So accessories such as scarves, bags, specs can really sort of funnel the trend without having to buy the whole look. One of the most surprising things at London Fashion Week, even though there was lots of 1970s fashion everywhere, there was one designer, J.W. Anderson, who really started showing a collection that was based on the 1980s. So it was sort of big power shoulders, ruched leather, floppy boots, and it was really like a different movement away from the 70s, so it felt really refreshing. The key thing about accessories is just about keeping in mind what the trends are and thinking about how you can utilise the trends without having to go for the whole outfit and just take elements of a trend. So another big theme on London Fashion Week was checks and patterns, and that's a really good way to incorporate that trend by using things like tartans and patterns which can be used on bags or scarves or specs. There's lots of different trends that have come through from eyewear which have really been influenced by the catwalk. So things like 1970s oversized frames are really important, big black simple frames are important, but also the idea of colour and pattern frames is really influential. So a lot of designers did sort of look at patterns and checks and texture in their catwalks, and this has really influenced frames that are red and they've got checks on and different patterns, leopard print, which is a reference to the 70s but also to the pattern theme as well. Sight Station is really smart at looking at catwalk trends and realising that people want to have different frames for different occasions. So they are really good at being able to offer lots of different frames and different patterns and shades and shapes that are really relevant to this season's current trends. And there's loads of really good websites that show not just the trends from the catwalks, but also ways to interpret the trend in an easier way. People can be online and look at sightstation.com.